Hey everyone, thanks for joining our session today. Today we'll be talking a little bit about natural language processing and text classification. So, what exactly is natural language processing? So, natural language processing, or NLP, is basically the ability for a computer to help understand, interpret, and manipulate the meaning of human language, right? So, human language is actually quite a complex topic. Just recognizing and identifying individual words or sentences doesn't always convey the true meaning underneath the hood of what that sentence is. It's hard, as people have seen, when texting, when writing emails. It's always been hard to kind of convey the true intent, and hence trying to be able to glean that information from a body of text for a computer. There are a lot of different applicable applications of that ability, right? And as you can see here, there's a couple of examples from information retrieval, like searching a document but not knowing exactly the right search words and keywords to find, but just trying to understand what you're going after and returning the relevant information, to information extraction, which is basically the concept of named entity recognition. So being able to understand what pieces of text within a document are what. Like this, these few words are the address to a building, or this sentence or body of text is referring to a product review, or some type of other type of description, right? Being able to kind of isolate and understand those different pieces of information is part of NLP. To question and answering, kind of like chatbot services, being able to present back relevant answers to common questions can make a lot of processes more efficient for organizations. To sentiment analysis, right, which is what we're going to talk about a little bit more today, around trying to again figure out what's the true meaning behind a set of text, right? So what exactly is text classification, right? Text classification is an arm within the big umbrella term of natural language processing. More specifically, what it refers to is being actually going through the process of assigning tags or categories to open-ended text, like saying, again, this this body of text is a positive review, this body of text is a negative review, these few sentences refer to person A versus person B. This body of text is talking about science versus math versus history, right? Topical classification. There are a lot of use cases around specifically for text classification. Sentiment analysis, which is what I just referenced before. Topic labeling, spam detection, right? Moderation is a very very big use case, right? Especially with a lot of user generated content out there these days. A lot of organizations want to make sure that what data is being uploaded, it meets their certain criteria, right? So lots of different use cases and applicability with text classification in general. So, but the real best way to kind of like truly understand this is to go see a demonstration and see exactly what I'm talking about. So with that, I'm going to actually flip over to a quick example of how Clarifai does text classification, and how we can interpret human text in a very meaningful way. So what you see here on my screen is our portal landing homepage, where you can create a multitude of different applications. And in previous applications, or previous sessions, we've created different applications around people detection, video labeling, food analysis, and whatnot, right? In this case today, what we're going to do is we are going to try and automatically categorize a set of movie reviews, right? And this application here is not meant to say, oh, we only can categorize movie reviews, but it is meant to set the stage for a variety of different use cases that you can parallel around, trying to understand, what people are trying to convey through human language, text, through emails, and other bodies, and other textual bodies of work. Right. So with that, we'll go through the same stuff that we've done before quickly. We are going to create an application. So I'm just going to name this, movie review 1. I'm going to say movie analysis, sentiment analysis, review, sentiment analysis. Completely arbitrary, so pick whatever you want. And then here's where the real power comes in. I'm going to select our base workflow. So these are one of our out-of-the-box workflows that everyone can leverage right away to start to actually use NLP, for example. All right, and with that, I am going to create my sentiment analysis application. And then from here, I'm actually going to first create the concepts of what I want to categorize, right, or classify. So in this case, I'm just going to do something super simplistic, right, and say I'm going to create, the concept of positive, as in associating a positive review, associating a label of positivity to a movie review, and also a negative review, right? So people who reviews that people don't like for specific movies. But again, these buckets and categories can be whatever you want them to be, right? This is the most kind of easily understandable, but these could be topics. Let me classify sci-fi movies versus, documentaries versus dramas, right? You can create a multitude of different concepts depending on the exact use case that you want to apply. Maybe you want to have a certain brand safety or on-brand standard for your documents, for your marketing material, right? And so you have to, use certain words, not just use specific words, but use specific words in a certain way, right? You can't just use the word good to express positivity. You need to use the word great, for example. And again, not just the specific words, but how you do that, right? Not just, oh, this is this is kind of great. This is amazingly great, for example, right? So a lot of different nuances, and NLP is all about understanding that context and nuance. It's not about strictly, searching for keywords, right? So again, an individual word can have multiple different meanings, and a seemingly, bad word can mean something very good, and vice versa as well, right? So as we go forward, I've gone ahead and created my 2 concepts. Now I'm going to upload some pre-labeled data that I already have here, and let me kind of showcase what that data looks like so that everybody can see what we're working with here. So I already have just a simple CSV comma separated value file of movie reviews that we grabbed off of a public source. And as you can see here, all it is the actual text itself, right? And then the actual label that we want to assign it. So this is for training purposes for the time being. And then we're going to say, yes, this is true. These actually do match these values, right? So we have the concepts positive and negative, which I just created in my application, and then assigning the values of 1, since that's what these actual reviews actually do reflect, right? So once we go back to our application here, all we need to do is browse files and upload this CSV file. We're going to skip all of the metadata stuff for the time being, and then we'll give it a second or 2 for it to upload. And then when we go back to our Explorer view, you'll see instead of normally what you would normally see here are actual images. In this case, you actually see the actual text body as well, right? And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to train a model to then actually, detect what, positivity is versus negative reviews, right? So once we go back here, we're going to go ahead and create a model. We're going to create a context-based classifier, right? We will, arbitrarily name it movie classifier let's call it classifier 5. Movie review classifier 5. Select all of the concepts that we want to train against. Select some options. And again, depending on what model you select, you have different options presented to you. So given that this is a context-based classifier and I know what data I'm training against, I'm just going to flip this switch to true, yes, and then I'm going to go ahead and create this model. Right. And this is kind of like the luxury of the Clarifai platform, right? Within one single interface with one single workflow, I can upload data, I can upload labeled data and even label it even further in our platform, but then also transition right over to model creation and model training right away, right? There was no, extract, translate, load. Didn't have to like move data from different servers or different tools. I didn't have to swivel chair between different applications. All I had to do was just kind of like follow the workflow here, create a model, and then as quickly and as seamlessly as creating a model, I can also train the model with a click of a button as well. All right. So, and then because we are using our off-the-shelf models that already know all of this pre-trained information, we can use something called transfer learning, which can speed up our model training times and accuracy such that we can have a model to test against right away, as you can see here, within a matter of seconds versus hours or days, and then also train against a lot less data. As you saw with the actual CSV file that I uploaded, I didn't upload millions of lines of text or even thousands of lines. It was actually about like 30 or 40, right? Of course, the more data, the better, as always, but depending on what you can work with, you can still get something very serviceable right out of the gate. All right, so if we go back to our Explorer view here, right, and then go ahead and click one of our movie reviews. Let's see here, let's just pick something. Do I recognize any of these movies? Real quick, let's go with Die Hard, right? So what does this say here? After the success of Die Hard and sequels, it's no surprise that in the 1990s, the Die Hard, blah, 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 cashed in. So it's already kind of like starting to feel like, oh, this is negative, right? So what was our annotation? What was our actual predefined label, right? This actually ended up being positive, right? So he may have actually like switched it. He was like, oh, it was bad, but then it actually became good in the end, right? So what does our model prediction say? So if we were to select this, we can see here, yeah, this is 97% confident it's positive and 3% negative that it's negative, right? Which actually kind of makes sense. So it's not 100%, like a positive review. There was some sense of, oh, this could be a bad movie review, but in the end, it did predict that it was positive. And this is actually doing an active prediction. This isn't actually relying on this label at all, right? So we kind of scroll through some other movie reviews here. We can kind of see this is positive. This was also then predicted as positive as well. Let's see, what about this one? This one was saying that this is labeled as negative, and this is also predicting it with a 100% confidence rate of a negative review as well. So that's how quickly our model can be trained, and then you can see how performant it is right away as well by kind of doing these spot checks. But in the end, let's just kind of double check and make sure that this is truly what our model is predicting and we're not relying on any of our pre-defined knowledge. So I'm going to add some brand new text here real quick, just to kind of showcase this. So if I say something like, this movie was the greatest of all time, right? Let's see what this, short blurb, what our model thinks of this short blurb. We can upload the text right here again. We can see here, no annotations, meaning this was not labeled, right? And then we can see here, this was actually, half positive, half negative, basically. So it's trying to it's probably a little too short of a sentence or blurb to fully understand, but we're still starting to kind of get those types of predictions. So now let's go ahead and actively try and upload some brand new text just to see how the model performs on something that was not labeled before, just to re-verify that we're doing an active prediction. So if we go ahead and click here to add text, what we can do is say something like, this is a great movie, for example, right? Something short, something sweet. Let's see how this performs. So if we upload that text, we go back to our Explorer view, we go here, we can see here that there are no annotations, so we did not label this, of course, since I just actively uploaded it and typed it out. And we can see, the model prediction, 100% positive. This is a great movie. So of course, right? So but with more complexity and more text, right, and depending on the exact verbiage and format, right, you'll have different levels of confidence rate because of how certain words are used, and again, in what context. Not just the word great, not just the word good, but the actual meaning behind it is what is predicted. So with that example, that brings me to our conclusion today around text classification and at large natural language processing. Thank you for joining, everyone. Have a great day.